Hi there, I am Stacy and the Melanin Principessa, and welcome to my channel. So should I save or should I invest? Or better yet, should I clear my debt? Which is more important? These are questions that I'm sure many of us have tackled at some point throughout our life. I have a clear order that I believe these three areas should follow. Today in this video, I'm going to share the order that I believe is best with you and also the reason for that. So stay with me. I will be right back. Thank you so much for staying with me. Before I continue, let me just remind you to share the knowledge. If it is that you believe there is anyone that will benefit from the information that I share with you, go ahead to share this link with them. If it is that you like the information that I have given, go right ahead also to click that thumbs up button. And of course, if it is that you would like to see more content, subscribe and click the notifications button so that you can get in line quickly. And of course, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me whether or not you agree with this order, whether or not you disagree, and tell me why. So let's jump right into it. So which would I do first? Would I save, would I invest, or would I clear my debt? The first action to take from these three areas is pretty obvious from my perspective, and that would be to save. And what you are saving is your emergency fund. Remember, your emergency fund should be 3 to 6 times your monthly expenses and should be in an account that is easily accessible to you. So why? Why is it that I believe that you should save first your emergency fund? Do you know what an emergency fund is for? Just as the name suggests, it's for emergencies. Now, what would be the point in clearing off a debt or investing money if it is that you have no safety net? If it is that, for example, you should run into an emergency, which will happen at some point, is it that you are going to go back to the lender and ask them for the money that you had given them to clear your debt? Or are you going to go to your investment account to remove those funds? Neither of the two makes sense. One, you will not be able to get back that money to help in any situation from your lender. It only means that they would be lending you an additional amount, which would be putting you into even greater debt. And two, constantly removing funds from your investment accounts will only cost you. You will either lose out on the benefits that you would have received if you had let the funds grow as it should, or you are going to be penalized for early withdrawals. Now, despite the necessity of an emergency fund, I do understand that it's not always easy to accumulate these funds, especially if it is that a lot of your income is going towards loans and other debts. However, it is quite crucial to find a way to get this done. There are creative means through which you can find money that you didn't even know you had to save. In my previous videos, I have shared creative ways in which you can actually save money, or creative ways through which you can find money to actually save to put towards this particular fund. I will link them in the video and I will also put them in the description box so that you can find that. So please check them out, because if nothing else, life has taught us in recent times that we simply cannot predict what is to come. Now, based on the order that I would follow, step number 2 would be to clear your debt. Of all the three areas, to me, or from my perspective, this is the area that takes the most sacrifice, because the aim is to not simply clear the debt, but to clear it in as short a time as possible. This means that you would be paying in higher increments than what the lending institution had stipulated. Now, why would I place clearing your debt second in the order? Well, it's simple. At this point, you would not be needing to hold back on any money because you would have already had your safety net, which is your emergency fund, created, and you are now looking to get back all your available funds so that you can start properly investing. So essentially, while it's going to take sacrifice, meaning you are going to be having to tell yourself no or be telling yourself and your family to wait, this would make sense because this is a short-term action that will bring about a long-term comfort goal. So once you have cleared your monthly expenses, any money that you may have remaining or any bonuses that you may receive or any monetary gifts that you might get, you can throw them completely towards clearing your debt because you already have your safety net should something arise. Of course, you will still be required to act responsibly because you cannot be jumping to your emergency fund every time a little need arise, because then you would still be setting yourself back by having to find back those funds to re-add to the emergency fund because it has to be maintained at a particular level. And then of course from there, the next item in the order would be to start investing. So at this point, you would have had your safety net set up. You would have been cleared of debt, meaning all your income can now be used towards building your wealth or building the abundance or reaching your financial targets. So just remember, once it is that you have your emergency fund properly set up, you do not need to have any additional amounts in a regular savings account. Because as mentioned in a previous video that I did, it's only going to be eaten away with inflation. So your monies after this would now be used towards investing, meaning you're going to be using those money to work so that you can create monetary abundance. And just to wrap up, guys, even though I have given you the order that I believe makes the most sense, remember that you can always mix it up a bit, but the focus should remain, again from my perspective, in that particular order. So even though you may be at step 1, developing your emergency fund, it doesn't mean that you cannot clear a debt. So let's say, for example, you have saved 3 months of your monthly expenses. You can go ahead to start mixing it where you can start putting additional funds towards clearing debt. You may not be able to clear one of the larger debts such as a student loan, but maybe you can clear, for example, a credit card debt. So you can always create an initial emergency fund with the intention of coming back to build it up greater. And the same goes for when you're at step number 2 as it relates to clearing your debt. It doesn't mean that you can't actually start some sort of an investment, because remember that the earlier you start to invest, the better it is for you. The younger you start to invest, the greater your returns will be as you age because of compound interest. However, stay focused on the order. So whichever step that you are at, make sure that you are actively working towards clearing that level so that you can move on to the next step. I hope the information I gave you today, guys, helped to clear up some gray areas or some questions that you might have had. And again, feel free to comment on whether or not you agree with this order. That's it for today. Take care.